Okay, so we have another trade here. I'm not going to say it wasn't a shiny trade, but it was a good trade, and I think there's some value in learning it. So it was on Boeing, March 11th, um, March 11th. Yep, that is my thing. Say March 12th. Oh, it was okay. So I think actually it was on March 12th, right here. This is the candle. Um, so March 12th, 2025, the first 233-minute candle. So I'm going to lock chart, relock those chart dates. Okay, so if I were to go to the market, let's go to the Russell 2000. On that day, you had upward movement, straight line information, I would say, on the Russell 2000 with the Christmas cross. That may not quite be crossing, probably not, but it's quite close. And this is very close to being trigger fired down here. So it's not perfect, but it is good enough. So yeah, definitely not crossing right there. But we'll talk the stock RSI, the MACD, and this is very nearly trigger fired. So that's what that is. And then if you look at the daily, it's coming off the 987. This is less than 20. We have a somewhat of a reversal. This is cocked. So possibly moving. So let's go to Boeing. We were to go to the weekly chart. I called that white and then doji. That was my call there. We go to the for the next two candles. For the three day, we have the auto wave line. We're at the bottom Bollinger Band, and we are cocked. And the daily, we're at the bottom Bollinger Band on the previous one, and then I put doji, but it's actually the candle's not closed, so that's probably not really accurate. But auto wave line, bottom Bollinger Band, the trigger fired, maybe not on the previous candle, not quite, but still a significant movement. Yeah, it was at 12 before, so missed that one. But anyway, I actually didn't go through the consideration list because, and all this other stuff, because I am trying to trade a little bit quicker, trying to practice, not trade quicker. I'm trying to do my practice trades a little bit quicker. I'm not sure if that's optimal, but so I can do some more. My thought was I was looking at maybe a 10-point move, just based on if you look at kind of the history over the last few months. I mean, this is well, from here 155 up to, let's say, that's 20 points. You get another 15 or something. I said maybe a 10-point move was kind of my expectation. So based on that, um, the option that I purchased, this is a historical trade. I didn't do this trade, but it was a week 4 March, 160 point, $160 calls. So that basically gives me a week and a half. Let me just take a peek. Actually, that's still 2.5. Yeah, that's 2.5 weeks on the options, and 160 to blow through that, maybe to 150. That seemed very possible. So let's just go ahead and move forward. So it's holding. It moved in my direction. So let's just say 156.78 is the opening price. Actually, I need to turn that on. So it's staying. And then two more candles for the 3-day rule. Just kind of went up a little bit more. Wasn't sure if it would, so it definitely moved in our direction, but it's so for exit criteria, we're above 80 here. We do have the 233 close above. We have the and nothing else down here. We're on the 13 here, and then I didn't see any on this one. So wasn't sure how much more move there would be, but I decided to stay. We'll go candle by candle from here. Click. computer is having trouble. Frustrating. Push pause. Yeah, I figured. Okay, let's see if this will be on. Okay, so that's 4 candles. And then I said I would go forward from here. So sideways, staying a pause here was to be expected. We have the auto wave for exit criteria on 233. We have an auto wave line. Stock RSI is greater than 80, and it's very nearly crossing. You could say position 1, maybe continuation, or very close to continuation here on the daily. There is, I guess you could say, 13, and then continuation. On the 3-day, none. So that was Friday close. Go forward with another one. I said, no change other than you are crossing here sideways. And I said stay. So I'll go with another candle. I said sideways. We are in the money now. My stock option was 160. So since you're in the money and I still have almost 2 weeks, I guess 9 trading days till expiration, I said that the larger charts have permission to go higher. And actually, okay, another one, and the same thing. And then I said another one that went sideways. Now, this is where I actually exited. And then I said I should have actually exited earlier because it just went sideways here, which wasn't really expected with these moving average, with these resistance lines pretty close ahead and above. And there's only like $1 or whatever higher is like, I guess maybe $2 over here, but just not a lot move. Now, so that was my exit. I was pretty happy with that in general because I probably would have made some money. I didn't calculate it. I didn't go back and look up the historical option prices, but maybe I made a little bit of money. Who knows? Now, if you go forward, there was a jump. So I went forward afterwards and watched this. So I said, so that's obviously good. Next one was a pause. No, not a pause, but it went up. And then I was kind of just follow this forward. For exit criteria, you have these resistance up auto wave line, top Bollinger Band. These are basically at 100. We have this kink down, the red DM kink down, almost cocked. Continuation here. Here you're basically on these resistance lines. This is also on resistance lines, but also continuation. If you go forward, now you're $12 in the money. A little bit of a pullback, but you go forward one more, and then one more after that. And this would be probably the correct exit. Now, as I went back after my trade and analyzed kind of what I did, I feel like I purchased the entry. I would say shiny gold for my judgment. I feel that I purchased the correct option price and the duration based on my chart reading. The middle is hard for me to characterize. I reasoned that since the stock had moved into the money, I could handle some sideways, which is correct per our instruction. Now, there is this thing called the windshield effect that we're taught about. Basically, when the stock is going sideways, the red line is going sideways, and then the green line is coming up kind of at a pretty good angle. There can be like a windshield effect where this basically pushes the red line up. And this is just a thing. It's not the secret. It's not the thing, but it is a thing. And it does, in my study, it does seem to happen. It happens not infrequently. And so what often happens is you'll see the bottom, at least for my study, is that the bottom wick of a candle will hit it and then it'll push up. And so this stayed a little bit longer, but maybe I could have anticipated that, hey, a windshield effect right here is possible. Um, Sometimes it happens kind of maybe a candle or two before, but this went right to this point, and then there was that push. I guess it was actually, yeah, two candles. That's how it was as I was writing this down. Two candles that were basically kind of laminated to them, and then there was the jump. Um, so I think it's worth kind of looking at um, from this point, just kind of being aware of, hey, this is something to learn, and that would have been the exit right there, and then pretty much that was the end. So that is my trade on Boeing. I think there's some good things to learn there.